is going to be fast, furious, and a spectacular finish, so let's go. This will definitely get you disqualified on the day. Fancy a wee jog along the beach, who doesn't? just stood the net. Not a good start. Welcome to the official route video for the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, possibly one of this year's fastest and most stunningly beautiful races. Right on time, you can see a P&O ferry coming in there. P&O ferries, of course, being the big headline sponsor this year, along with the Port of Larne. The half marathon was originally supposed to have happened back in March, but of course it was cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic. And I know what you're thinking. The first thing, and let's get it out of the way, is it safe? Well, I can tell you that the race organisers have put a ton of effort and are putting a ton of effort into making sure this race is as safe as possible. They're following government legislation. They're having competitors go out in waves. The entire event is being held outdoors. It doesn't have to be, but they are keeping it outdoors so it's as safe as possible. There's no spectators at the start or at the finish, and they're ensuring that competitors will be constantly moving. And if you want to, you're going to be able to watch the entire event streamed online. There's several cameras, including buggy and car cameras, going to be following the event, so you'll be able to watch it online. Of course, running events have been coming back gradually. There was the Down Royal 10K a few weeks ago, and other races are starting up here and there, so I'm really happy to see it. But let's go to the start line, because the way they're going to start this race is pretty special. Okay, nice view at the start line, but on the day, every single competitor gathered up along this road will be staring out to sea, waiting for the white shape of one of the P&O ferries, because once the P&O ferry reaches a green buoy or buoy out in the water, it's going to sound its whistle and off we go. Now we're just waiting. I'm here with the organising committee and representatives from P&O ferries. We're going to test this with the ferry going out, but on the day it's going to be the ferry coming in. And here comes the P&O ferry. It's not the ferry. Hey, and we're off! To start with, we run back into the town. We're going to go down to the docks, look down through the town, and then head back out the coast road. As you cross over the railway line into the port area, you'll get your glimpse of the ferry that started the race. There we go, Port of Larne and P&O ferries, big official sponsors for the race. On the day itself, part of the route is going to go up into the terminal and loop around. P&O ferries, the port, have been so accommodating that when the race director said, can we direct part of our half marathon through your terminal? The reply was, yeah, go on ahead. So, thanks to P&O and the Port of Larne. Here we go, Curran Court Hotel, another sponsor and the official hotel for the race. Onward into town. Just in case you think I'm crying tears of joy or excitement or, you know, pain, look at that pouring down my face. I knew it was going to be sunny, and I've got sunburnt enough this year, so I absolutely piled on the sun cream. I'm sweating like mad, and it's just running straight down my face and into my eyes. Currently 6 PM, so the town centre is going to be busy. On race day, we're going to start off quite early in the morning to avoid hitting crowds in the town. Round the corner and out onto the coast road. Here we go, the Antrim Coast Road, and in my humble but correct opinion, one of the nicest coast roads in the country. In fact, if you hop in the car and just drive for 20-30 miles, you will see absolutely amazing stretches of coastline. So yeah, if you didn't get in this year, come next year, run the race and go see the rest of the coastline. right now and into Drains Bay, and we still have to go all the way around that headland. So let's keep going. Okay, this isn't part of the official route, but fancy the wee jog along the beach. Who doesn't? And back up onto the road. And coming up here on my left is Carnfunnock Country Park, which in the past has been voted Northern Ireland's top destinations for families. So it's not part of the course, but I thought I'd nip up into this little footpath and just give you a quick spin around part of it anyway. So just shortly after Carnfunnock, and we are just about at the halfway mark, which is a nice coincidence because just up here is Carndew Golf Club, which, oh, you should see the views from the top of it. The fairway goes right up to the top of the headland with cliffs dropping down to the sea, and there's gonna be stuff happening there as well. Actually, you know what? I'll talk less. Let's just go and take a look. This will definitely get you disqualified on the day. Don't want to put them off, but look at the view up here. This is absolutely spectacular. Just over in that direction is the village of Ballygally, which is going to be the turning point for the race. And for such a small village, it has a surprisingly large number of international sports people, including several world champions. Paula Radcliffe, Dave McCauley and Diane Barr all live in Ballygally. And then if you look over in that direction, just look right into the sun, you'll see you've got the Salad Braes, you've got Knockdoon, you've got Scat Hill, and those were actually used as filming locations in Game of Thrones. And in fact, there is a movie currently in production just up on those hills starring Nicole Kidman. So Nicole Kidman might actually be in the background of my shot. Hi, Nicole. Now, it's not quite clear today, but on a clear day, you can see right over there all the way to Scotland, right to the Mull of Kintyre. It's just an amazing view. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely amazing location. And it's all outdoors, which of course makes it perfect for the planned after event. Right, I need to get back on the road and finish this route. Back onto the coast road again, and now we're gonna run around that headland that you can see from the top there, round to Ballygally, which is gonna be our turning point, and start heading back. The old route at this point was only halfway there and involved a particularly nasty hill climb. Love it or hate it, the hill is gone and it's now a much flatter, faster route. That's me straight back out onto the coast road and heading back towards Larne. Rather than make you watch the entire route again, I'm just going to travel by map until we get shortly before the finish, because the finish for this race is going to be pretty special and you want to keep watching to find out why. Oh, keep going. I really should have trained for this route video. Oh, my training the last while has mostly consisted of not running and eating a lot of cheese, which is not very good for speed nor stamina. Look there, see that? See that tower poking up? That's the James Chain Memorial Tower, and that's where the finish line is. And this is where it gets really good, because before we get down there, there's about 100 meters of a downward slope before it straightens out into a promenade. This is going to be where the competitors dig in, sink deep, find that extra energy and absolutely blast their way to the finish line. It is going to be fast, furious, and a spectacular finish, so let's go. And we're done. Okay, so on the race day, the actual race is going to end over there a little bit, but I thought the Chain Memorial Tower was a good place to end my video. Now, I cannot promise you there'll be a sunset like this on the day. In fact, the race is starting in the morning, so if there's a sunset, you did really, really badly. If you haven't signed up for the race, just so you know, the entries are closed for this year, so I'll see you next year. But if you have signed up, I will see you on the 12th of September for what is going to be a brilliant race along the Antrim Coast Road. Bye-bye. I'm away to go home and eat something very, very unhealthy. Stuart, you're the harbour master?
That's right.
Is that right? Can you get me to go driving one of the ferries? That's a no.
and we're zooming straight into the start line.
Yeah, so I start camera off now.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Antrim Coast Half Marathon. I'm James McIlroy. I'm delighted to be joined in commentary today by Matt Whiting and Kevin English and Joe Pavey. Joe, we're going to start with you. The girls are just off. Just started. You were meant to be running today, but unfortunately you had to pull out. You had just last-minute injury.
Yeah, gutted not to be running today, but impressive lineup here in the women's race. Really excited to see how this materialises. Obviously, Lily Partridge has been running absolutely brilliantly. Ran well in the big half this year. Is getting ready for London. We've got Samantha Harrison, again someone on the up and up. Has run really well recently, and with every race she's getting quicker. Steph Davis has already run 2:27 within the qualifying time in December. Ali Dixon, well at 50k record holder. Gemma Steele's got an amazing PB of 68.13. But you know they're going out there for a fast pace. Holly Archer, indoor champion, 1500 metres is pacing this race.
Yeah.
They're hoping to go at 70-minute pace. So proves to be a good opportunity really for these girls to get out there and run a fast time on a brilliant course.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, we just see them coming down the first mile there. It's a quick first mile.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we took the athletes out on the bus and the feedback was really positive about the course. Slight hill to start off for the first 150 metres, and once you get past that, it's a really fast downhill section.
Yeah, they're coming down now, so we're just seeing the lead vehicle coming down. And then they're going to take their whip round to the left. So the first 4 miles of the course is through the Larne town, and then they're out, of course, the Antrim Coast Road, so it's out and back. Matt, from a British standpoint, what would you be looking at today in terms of who's some of the key headlines?
Well, I think it's quite exciting. We've got some experienced runners. We've, as Joe mentioned, we've got a couple of relatively new athletes in Sam Harrison, Steph Davis, both massively improved in the last couple of years. So
yeah, coming off a good time as well at the start of the year. Obviously, with coronavirus, it's been difficult. Everything's been quite fragmented, but they have posted quite early, quite strong times.
Yeah, there's a couple of quick times back in February, March in Barcelona and the big half. We've obviously had a few months of inactivity, so it'll be interesting to see what shape everyone's in today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people have really kept that motivation going, and I've been amazed how people come out and run in various events that have been able to go ahead. And this event is such an amazing opportunity for runners to see where they're at, and the likes of Lily Partridge and obviously a lot of men are also competing in London later. This is an ideal opportunity for them to prepare for that race. But yeah, really excited to see how they will get on today.
So, from an athlete's standpoint, have you found it difficult versus other years, just in terms of actually trying to motivate yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was motivated. I think obviously, unfortunately, this event couldn't take place in March for obvious reasons, and I was really ready for it then. Unfortunately, trying to keep ready to do it again in September, I did end up getting injured, and there are situations where things change, circumstances change. I think the whole sort of
and that's like any other year, isn't it?
Yeah, and trying to crack on with the training, and maybe things weren't done as well as they should have been. But yeah, for one reason or another, I managed to get injured, which was a bit unfortunate. But I'm thrilled to be still here today to soak up the atmosphere and just see this brilliant race. I mean, the organisers, you James, you've all done an amazing job to amass such a stellar field under the circumstances of what we've all been through. It's absolutely brilliant to see so many top-class international runners out there. Sorry that the masses couldn't take part. I mean, we feel sad for all those guys, obviously, and we really look forward to welcoming them back next year. But all credit to you and all the organisers for putting on such an amazing event.
Well, thank you. That's high praise indeed. So hopefully we'll see you back next year, Joe. So we just saw there the very fast section just down to the first left turn. So it's a hard left turn they've went through there from a 1,000 metre downhill. So we've seen Holly Archer just taking the girls through, and Sam Harrison and Lily Partridge, Steph Davis as well, sitting with her.
Yeah, I think there's six girls in the lead pack there, James. and you can see by that fast section at the start there, it's really strung out from the get-go.
So, and of course, the P&O boat, we just missed the start there, but the European Ferry, I should say, our major sponsor, P&O, they sailed their ship out and blew their whistle, which is what I would call a foghorn, but that's what sounded to start the women's race, and will obviously be starting the men's race as well.
Yeah, that's really unique. You know, I think I'm missing out on that opportunity to actually have a race started by a boat, so looking forward to trying that another time. But yeah, it's great to see the girls getting out there and getting on with it. As far as, like we're saying, Lily is hoping to compete in London, and the likes of Steph Davis opted not to compete in the London Marathon after this because she's very much targeting the World Half Marathon Championships, which we hope will still go ahead. And you know, Sam Harrison, young athlete going from strength to strength. She's recently run a really good 5k on the road, running 15:48, and she's an exciting talent coming through. You know, the distance running, you know, in Great Britain and Northern Ireland is just going from strength to strength, and it's very hard to get in the team. And I think getting in the marathon team nowadays is really difficult. I mean, you've got girls running 2:25, you know, Jessica Zaki and Charlotte Purdy. You've got Steph Davis running 2:27, and it's really tough, and it's very, very competitive, and they've got a great opportunity here to race together and pull each other around.
So we're just having technical issues, guys, with the lead car, so the pace car, but we will get the camera working shortly. So in terms of the course, so the first 4 miles, it's there's a few technical turns in it. So it's what the girls will be doing here is essentially running down to the harbour, and there's a quite a tight right-hand turn, and then it's along the Larne Harbour Highway up the main street, and then they'll pass the start line again around 4 miles and go out the Antrim Coast Road, which will be effectively 9 miles out and back. So that's a course. Kev, just before, you know, teeing up the men's race, while we're just getting the women's, while we're getting the women's camera just operational, it is some lineup. I mean, I guess we can't, with Sir Mo Farah breaking the world record in Brussels last week. Yeah, we really have to start with Sir Mo. It's his second time in Northern Ireland.
It's phenomenal to have him here. I mean, the last time he competed here was Stormont, wasn't it, in the cross country? And I mean,
he was only 14.
14, was he? Even talking to him yesterday, he didn't even remember running here. You know, it's so long ago. And also, like, the big factor for him, obviously, is having ran Brussels only 8 days ago. The recovery, you know, that track is ridiculously hard on the cast. You've ran there, haven't you?
Well, I don't know about you, Joe, but I certainly thought Brussels was always the hardest track in Europe.
Yeah, I've got a lot of my PBs in Brussels, and I think, you know, that's one of the things they say when the track's hard. It is hard on the legs, but it gives you the opportunity to run fast times. But, you know, all credit to Mo to come out here and run, because running, you know, an hour in a pair of spikes on a track, if anyone's tried that, they know what damage it does to your legs. But Mo is so professional, so conditioned, so able to recover, and it's so exciting to see him race today. And that hour race he did was unbelievable, to break the world record. It was just so well judged as well. You know, at 36 minutes or so, people saying, "Oh, he's really flagging off the pace. It's not going to happen." And then he pulled it together, and the determination he has and the mental aptitude is phenomenal. I mean, not only to produce the performances, but to lead the likes of where he's training so hard day in day out, and to, you know, have that kind of racing brain as well. I mean, he's a phenomenon.
I mean, chatting to him, he did say he was certainly struggling at around the 35, 36 minutes, and then he got going again. So it's great to see. But Sir Mo isn't the only guy in the men's race. I mean, we've got the likes of Mark Scott, who's obviously running fantastic at the minute, Kev, and we've got Ben Connor as well.
I think Mark goes a little bit under the radar because, you know, he's been based in America for so long over in that Mecca NCAA system, you know, where the likes of, we'll touch on him now, Ben Connor obviously ran with Providence College over there as well. So they're all coming through that system, and for a lot of them athletes, it's trying to find the right training group to train with after they finish college. And luckily enough for Mark, you know, he's with Jerry there over in Oregon. and he has a fantastic group. And a lot of the athletes we were talking to, they're like all on about when was the last time you raced, and a lot of them are saying time trial, and they're just sick of time trials now at this stage. They just want to get out and actually do a race rather than go for a time. The times come with the racing. So
and it should be interesting, because I mean, you've got sort of Mark and Sermo coming from the nearly 1,500 metre up, and then you've got the guys like Ben Connor, Kevin Seward coming down.
Yeah.
So there's a few subplots, and then of course we've got Aerospeed Garrow, who's a 50k world champion, a 209 man. So he's coming from an even further, longer base, I guess you could say. So it's, somewhere they should hopefully meet in the middle.
It's the way a lot of the athletes now are training. It's strength based, so they can have anything from 1,500 right up to the half. Mark is obviously making his debut for the half today, and it's going to be his last race of the season, so he's going to have a little bit of downtime after this, so he literally wants to lay it all out there. I mean, yesterday when we were talking to him, we were on about doing the cool down. He was like, literally, I'm not doing no cool down, that's it, I'm finished for the season.
So what we can see, guys, we're just still having technical issues with, so I can only apologise for that, but the leading women are at the 2 mile mark now, so just around probably 5:25 pace. So it's a nice still, it's a fresh enough pace, Joe. You would know what that feels like. Certainly, it's around maybe 70 high at the minute.
Yeah, it's around 70-minute pace. I suppose they're on good pace here. It's hard to see with the camera not working at the moment, but they all seem to be in there at the moment. But we're looking out for Lily Partridge, Sam Hannafson, and Steph Davis, hoping to go with that pace. And we hope Gemma Steele can get back to her best, because she's got a PB of 68.13, which is absolutely phenomenal. So
brilliant.
we're good to see her get up there again as well.
So then, of course, they're going to for the locals, they'll know they'll be sweeping onto the Harbour Highway, and then it's into the town. So that'll take us around to the 3 mile mark. Obviously, with the coastal course as well, Joe, you're always sort of dependent on the weather. So I think September in Northern Ireland, this is maybe probably as good as we could have hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions out there, just before the start when we were out there, they were absolutely brilliant. Really great temperature for distance running, not a lot of wind about. I mean, obviously, like you say, being near the coast, it's quite tough not to get any wind at all, and they'll be going out along the coast road and back, and will they get the wind one way and not the other? And but, to be honest, it's lovely to have such a flat, long stretch. I mean, that's what I like about the course, as a runner, getting into your rhythm. And I think it works well the way they're doing the first sort of 4 miles, maybe a bit more windy around the town. And then when they really get into the running, that's when they get that fast, flat stretch. And it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, someone said to me yesterday, do you notice the views when you're running? But you can't really miss it, can you? Because it's so beautiful. And so dramatic to be able to run that far along the coast.
Well, it's funny because I know Ruth, my other half, she was giving out the press accreditation, and I think all of them have went out to the coast road where the black arch is. So I've actually in the technical brief mentioned to the athletes. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of photographers there, just so it is just to let them forewarn them that they're going to be there.
Definitely. So really impressed with the girls having got themselves in such good shape. So Lily was running brilliantly earlier in the year, running well in the big half, and she's got that really good economical style, and she's really found her feet moving up to the marathon. Of course, she's been the first Brit in the London Marathon that year, 2018, when it was really, really hot, and still produced such a good time. Unfortunately, had some injury problems in December. Couldn't do the Valencia Marathon, had to drop out of that because of injury, and that was a big disappointment. And now she's fully focused on, trying to achieve that Olympic place, and this will be good preparation for her for London. And Sam Harrison, really excited to see her career progressing as well. So.
And Matt, you mentioned Becky Briggs earlier on. I mean, she's still very, very young, but she of course won the Bath half leading into this, although it was quite some time ago. It was back in March, but I mean, hopefully she can post something really good here because she's in with good company.
I don't know too much about her, but she's another up and coming athlete. I think she's got the UK record for her age, and no, possibly she can move that forward again today.
Yeah, she's based at St Mary's. I spent a lot of my time training at St Mary's, and it was nice to chat to her about that and share training experiences. And it's great to see her like going from strength to strength. But yeah, I miss training in Teddington. Sometimes, you know, it's a big centre for distance running, but obviously enjoying being back in Devon and bringing up the kids there. But yeah, it was exciting to talk to Becky about her experiences in Teddington and going on the track there.
So the girls now, just sorry cutting in there, Joe, coming up to 15 minutes, or just past 15 minutes, they're now going to take the turn onto the main street, and there you can see where they're just running up Larne Main Street. Again, lovely and flat. When they take a right turn, a sharp right turn at the top, there is a little climb. It's only maybe 100 metres, not massively steep, and then they're going to make their way back to the start. So still making good pace coming up to 3 miles.
James, the course obviously is a brand new course. How long was the event? I know it's been renamed, but how long was it going on for before that?
Well, it's actually, believe it or not, it's been going for over a quarter of a century as the Larne Half Marathon, and race director Billy Thompson, he's done a fantastic job. He's, we chatted about it maybe a year ago, about he wanted to put on an elite course, and he wanted to make it very, very fast. So the course actually has been changed 3 times between what was the old course and this new course now. So there's still maybe a few tweaks we believe we can do to make it faster, and certainly the road wider for next year. But again, like any coastal course, you're still dependent on the weather. But in terms of gradient, I think it's between 2 metres and 28 metres elevation, and it's minus 19 metres overall decline, so it's just legal by 2 metres. So I think if it went the other side of the park bench to start off with, we would probably be just on the limit. So no, hopefully we'll get good times of it, because I think he's lined it up as best he can.
I think we have some good targets ahead. Like I think Marie McCambridge holds the all-comers record. So
yeah, I know Joe, you would have been going for that, targeting for that if everything went well. It's Maria's, I think 72.26. We're looking to try and get under. So that was set back in 2014 in Charleville. Yeah. And the men's, when we come to it, goes right back to the great Jerry Kiernan, 1982 in Tralee.
Former coach of mine.
That's right. He is a former coach of yours, and that's 62.29. So I know from speaking to Mark and Mo last night, I think we can all agree they're pretty confident, and they're going to go for it.
We actually met one of Jerry's good friends, Eamon Tierney, on the course. He was warming up today. He was with Ciara Hickey there from be back in Dublin. Should be close to me. Brothers Pierce is the local club there, and she's come. Like a lot of athletes, I think now we're running on the track. Might necessarily be running on the track, so it's kind of new to them, even though they've been around for a while. Like so. You know, you had Sam Harrison there. You were saying ran 15:48 on the road, and then she ran the British Championships. Probably not the time that she wanted, but track is so different to the road, is it?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I find it the other way around in that I'm surprised how fast people can run on the road. You know, for me, I've been predominantly a track runner, and I'm probably not very agile, and anything that breaks up my rhythm is going to affect the times I can run. So. The fact she ran, the 15:48 on the road is absolutely brilliant. And I think some people just find going onto the track, it's a totally different thing. You're running in the spikes. That can be a whole different sort of running mechanics going on. And also you can get a bit of soreness in the legs from the impact fatigue as the laps go on. But yeah, I've always found it more difficult to actually, transpire sort of the track times onto the road as far as particularly 10k and half marathon. But yeah, some people are very much designed for road racing, and it's very strong in the country at the moment, as I was saying. And
what do you think of like athletes like young Becky Briggs, like moving up to the half so early? It seems to be a lot more common now where athletes are moving up to the longer distances. Do you think it's more the focus of it's more achievable maybe to make the Olympics in the longer events now off the track, or do you think it's just a thing where athletes just find the road scene as maybe more?
I think it's a tricky one. I mean, you know, athletics, it's such a worldwide sport and the standards are so high. And, you know, the sensible sort of head on people says, you know, build up through the distance, maybe start off 1,500, 5K, 10K. And I went down that route. But also there is the other argument that it's tricky if the athlete is so suited to the long distances and so talented at it, yet would probably maybe never achieve getting on a team at the 1,500 and 5K, but at the same time you've got to be sensible and you have to take your time building up, particularly to the marathon, because even if they are young and you can see that it's going to be their best event, they're not going to be in their prime, and you've got to also take the attitude that you want them to be doing these events when they're a bit older, when naturally they're just going to be better because they would have gradually gained experience and naturally their peak is going to come more at that time. So it is a difficult balance, and there's so many opportunities for road running now as well. You know, there's so many more events taking place throughout the country, and but yeah, you have to obviously be very sensible and not do too many road races, otherwise it's going to shorten your career in the long term.
Now we can see just the feed there. Unfortunately, you guys can't. We are having technical issues, so I can only apologise for that, but we are working on it and we will get it resolved ASAP. But there's a good lead group there, so they're going along pretty well, coming up to 4 miles, and there looks to be five runners in that group, Kev.
Yeah, there seems to be 4 with the pacer. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, we've got Lily Partridge there, Sam Harrison. Who's that at the back there, Joe? Can you make?
Yeah, it's quite hard to see, isn't it? Because it's quite a distant shot.
But I mean, Sam Harrison just seems to be right up with the pace.
Yeah,
she does. She
looks like
strong.
she's really up for it.
I mean, she did that in the big half, didn't she? She really went for it and had a brilliant run, but just really committed early on and really had confidence in herself. And then, of course, Lily, very experienced runner, gauged what she was capable of doing on that particular day and came through to take the win. But, you know, that's why she's going from strength to strength, Sam, because she's prepared to go out there and test herself.
Lily's the only girl in the field, I think, that's in London, is that right?
Yeah, I mean...
So it's 3 weeks out, isn't it?
Yeah, saying Steph Davis was originally planning to do London Marathon, but of course with the World Championships in the half marathon coming up on the 17th of October, she's decided to put her priority onto that, because obviously you wouldn't be able to do the both. And obviously the London Marathon provides an opportunity to get qualifying times, but it's not at this stage an official trial for the Olympics that's hopefully going to take place next year.
And there we are now. So they're coming through the just past the start again, which is, I guess, 4.5 miles, and now they really are going into the fast section of the course. So they'll be going out to Ballygally and turning and coming back, and then just where they've just passed now, they'll be going onto the promenade, and there'll be 1,300 metres to go. So going into the very, very fast section.
You can see just at the back there, Becky Briggs is probably about 15 metres off the pack there, so it's going to be the decision time for her whether she tries to latch onto that group or. And
she had a tough climb there as well. So coming off the Victoria Road turn, coming out of the town, you have got maybe a 400 metre climb, very gradual climb, and now they've got quite a nice smooth downhill to a flat. And now we see, I think we're back with this guy, so sorry for that, and thanks for bearing with us. Where now you can see the camera at the Black Arch, so for anyone who's unfamiliar with Northern Ireland, you're looking at the Antrim Coast Road. It starts effectively at Belfast and goes the whole way round to the top of Ireland, and that camera is mounted on the Black Arch, so they'll run through the arch. And again, essentially, it should be nice and calm there. You've got 100 metres hills. Joe, you were running out there yesterday. You've got 100 metre cliff face on your left, and you've got Scotland on your right. So hopefully the wind's coming from the west. So it should, unless anyone's really tall, it should it should go over their head.
Yeah, brilliant. So it's absolutely spectacular, and I'm sure it'll inspire the runners as they run round.
And of course, now we're getting close to the men's race, Kev. 5 minutes to go. They've asked for quite a stiff pace. I think Mo is going to maybe try to get under 60 minutes. What should he be looking for, in terms of, you've seen the first 4 miles, and Mo has got quite a rangy stride. There are a few tight turns there, especially the first turn at sort of the 1,000 metre mark when you've got a descent into a tight left-hand turn.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be no problem for Mo. And it was interesting to see, to listen to Mark Scott, in the lead up to the race. Very, very focused. He came over that extra day. As I say, it's his last race before taking a break. And I mean, he's the up and coming guy, but all form we know, Mo obviously is the standout guy in the field. And I'll also be interested to see whether Ben goes with the guys. Obviously, he has London in 3 weeks' time, so most guys would normally kind of want to run a half, maybe 4 weeks out. 3 weeks is cutting a little bit fine, but these guys are on big mileage. Ben is probably up around 115 miles a week, so they recover a lot quicker than us normal Joe So's.
Yeah. And there, I think we're back with the lead quad. No, we're back at the Black Arch. Apologies. So that's around 5.5 miles. So they'll be approaching that quite soon. And we're back in the lead. We're back with the lead car, and you can see, Kev, as you said, there's a group of 4, and they all look to be going pretty smooth. It's a great shot actually with the starting boat moored on the side. And we can see them just in the distance there. We can see the police outriders, and they're on their way to just through the Black Arch.
So what point of the course are we here at, James, now? What
So
are we coming up to?
we're just going through the
5
the
miles?
5 mile mark, and then we'll be heading into Drains Bay and then round the corner to Ballygally. Sometimes there's a little bit of wind in that point at Ballygally, but hopefully it's a lovely day. There shouldn't be too much. And again, essentially it's pretty flat, so they're all running in a nice little group there, the leaders.
Yeah, I can see Sam Harrison there still in the lead position at the moment.
So it'll be interesting also just to see how long Holly Archer stays out there. She was giving us mixed messages yesterday.
She was, wasn't
I
it?
almost felt like she was going to run the whole thing.
I know she was. She really was wanting to go. It was very nice to hear. Actually, I would ask for 5 miles, and she said, "Well, I'm going to try and go further." So it will be interesting to see. It was sort of between 5 and 8 or 9 miles. So
I think when we were discussing the women's race, we wanted to see a proper race, and that's what we're getting right now. So.
Well, there's certainly as we said, there's a nice little group there bunched together, and just for the guys listening at home, it's an out and back, but with 1,300 meters to go. There's a lovely little swooping 150 meter descent, and then it's along the promenade, and you've got 1,000 meters to go. So it should hopefully engineer a nice race, and there they are going through.
We're down to 3.
Down to 3.
Sam Harrison, Lily Partridge.
And it actually looked like Holly Archer.
Oh, yeah.
So still
only
pacing.
3, yeah.
So again, it's maybe a repeat of the big half back at the start of the year. These two going head to head.
Having another tussle because, of course, we said Sam Harrison, the big half early this year, was the one that took it out, and Lily bided her time and came through to take the win. But they're both strong runners. Lily's got that really economical style, and Sam has got that economical style as well. And with every race, she just seems to be getting better. She seemed really excited last night when I was chatting to her to be able to get out there racing. And she'd done like a couple of 5Ks, one on the track, one on the road, getting ready for this. And they're both at different stages, really. Lily going on to do the London Marathon, and you think, is she going to be focusing on this as far as how much is she tapered? Is she still in the high mileage, getting ready to do her taper for the London Marathon, or has she done a bit more of a taper, ready to give this a real sort of sharpen up, ready for London? You know, people can see it in both ways. I think if it was me, I'd want to ease down a bit, test myself, get a bit of race sharpness going on, and then put in a tiny bit of training. But you know, it's not long until you taper for that marathon effort, so you know, you can work both ways really, and what you would actually decide to do in your plan.
So Joe, sorry there to cut in, but we're now onto the men's race, and they're just gearing up. So hopefully we hear a foghorn start in 1 minute. Actually, going by my watch, and again, hopefully the guys, they all sounded very, very confident last night. Kev,
they did indeed. I mean, there's guys in the field as well. We must give Nick McCormick a shout out there. You know, Nick is a former Olympian from London, and you know, he had 4 years out. Kind of just focuses on work. You know the way it gets, and he's looking for about 65 today. Josh Griffiths is coming off a really good training camp, and here we go. The men's have started,
and the men's are off. There we go. And actually, speaking about Nick, he did say he was going to sit at the back as best he can and try and come through later on. So he's being nice and conservative.
And also, then you'll see here we have the B start. For a lot of these guys, there's a lot of local guys as well. It's a really big opportunity to kind of get in a big race like this, and that feel good factor of being surrounded by all these phenomenal athletes.
Mm-hmm. And then we see Mo, we see the outrider. The outrider, in fact, in front of him will be you can see you can't see you can see the camera on the quad, and then there'll be two outriders, police outriders, taking them around. But it looks to be a nice pace. Again, Mo straight to the front. And we haven't mentioned the local interest as well, Kev. So we've certainly got the likes of Kevin Seward and Stephen Scullion. We've spoken a fair bit. Certainly I've spoken a fair bit with them over the last month, and they sound very, very confident. I mean, Stephen is getting ready for London. Kevin's not, but things have been going well for them guys.
Yeah, big time. I think Stephen, obviously with London, that's his main focus, but he'll want a big PB, I think, today. You know, big confidence booster. He's ranked 22nd out of the 30 athletes in London, so I know the way he is. He'll be thinking, I'm going to try and push for a top 15 in London. And Kevin, then they're very similar PBs. There's only 3 seconds between them. Kevin's a little bit stronger over the marathon in terms of his time. So
that's amazing. And you know, Paul Pollux, he's usually the third amigo you speak of when you're it's the Northern Ireland Marathon guys. His Northern Ireland record is 62.09. Do you think that could be in trouble today?
I'd say the guys will be. It all depends on if they're able to latch onto a group, and I think they're both capable of running those times. I mean, you were saying, interesting enough, with Kevin, his PB, he ran in like a big pair of heavy trainers. He didn't even have a pair of racing flats on that day.
No, it was amazing. I said I was sort of geeing him up as I like to do, and he mentioned he was, so that put me to shame, especially when you think of my PB for half a marathon. So it was, I think it'll definitely get revised today.
Yeah, and also like a lot of people know locally about Tommy Hughes, but Tommy Hughes is in the B race there, age 60, and he's going for a world record today.
Well, just on that, let's chat about Tommy, because firstly, he's tapered this week. This is the first week he's tapered in a long, long time, and he still did 80 miles, he was telling me. But that Vets world record of 71:33. I mean, it's a fantastic record for a 60-year-old.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he's he has a world record for the over 55s, but I mean, he ran that when he's 59, so I think he's chomping at the bit really to get going at the marathon. And also, another talking about longevity, Joe, I mean, he ran Barcelona Olympics in '92.
Yeah,
And here he is today.
he really inspires me because I'm somebody who would like to try and prolong their career a little bit, and seeing people like him running so well, he's amazing. It's not just the performances, it's dealing with the training load that he's still managing, and of course going for that father-son record as well. His son Ewan is a good runner as well, and that's exciting that they go for the father-son half marathon record. But yeah, chatting to Tommy last night, you know, he's such a lovely person and just such an inspiring person, and really interested to talk to him and get some advice, definitely.
So we've just, and we'll keep you updated on Tommy as we go along. Of course, we've just went through coming up to the first mile, and they certainly they seem to be going pretty well. Not following the pace spike, but certainly there's a group of 4 or 5 of them keeping a very, very good pace at the start. And I must mention Mid East Antrim Council at this point, because they've done a fantastic job, and the police of locking, in these difficult times, Joe, locking an entire 13-mile perimeter down. There are some people on the course, but obviously they're residents.
Yeah.
There was tremendous interest, as you can imagine, when people like yourself and Sir Mo were coming along.
Well, I think people are obviously going to be wanting the opportunity to see Mo for our running, and you know, having Mo here is phenomenal, and I can see some people can't resist getting out to watch him, although the organisers have obviously put out strict instructions to not come in crowds to watch Mo, and as you say, there's residents there, and you know, hopefully they'll take their responsibilities to socially distance while they watch the event. Yeah,
well, certainly we had a late night going up to the last minute, just getting preparations, and it was great seeing all the council staff and the police getting last minute checks done. So I think it was a credit to the town.
So we just went through the mile. The first mile was 4:42 there.
Yeah, so that's with a tight turn in that. So hopefully we can keep that going, or maybe a little bit faster. So that's around 60-minute pace.
Yeah, you can see the athletes at the moment are kind of feeling each other out. There's no one really taking it on. I mean, they're side by side at the front there. It looks like Stephen Scullion actually is in the lead group there.
Yeah. And there's Mo. So there is a little incline there. So we're now going into the harbour. So this is the technical turn in the course, is what I would... certainly it's kept some of the organisers up late at night just trying to get the sweep right. So what they're going to do is they're going to take quite a nice sweeping left down to the harbour. They're actually going to run into the harbour facility, round the terminal and back out. So you can see here we're just sweeping down to the left, and we might get a glimpse of one of the P&O boats.
I think just going back to Stephen Scullion there, you know, we were talking to Mo, and he was really confident that Stephen was going to have a big run today. He's obviously out training with Mo as well. So I think when you're training with an athlete as well, and you're side by side in a race, you know, it gives you that confidence, because you know you've matched him in training, and hopefully you can do it in a race today.
Now, Matt, you've known Mo quite a long time, since his Windsor days. It really is great to see how he's come through from 1,500 metres the whole way down up the Eton track, the whole way through to where he's become now in terms of marathon runner.
Yeah, well, Mo's club, Hounslow, joined the club merged with Windsor back in 2001 it was. So Mo at the time was 17, 18, incredible talent at that age. Everyone could see the potential. But yeah, it's been, he's obviously continued to progress and moved on to longer distances.
And they've went through that turn there. That was a tough turn in the course, and they've went through it incredibly smooth, Kev, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're already down to 2, it looks like already. Mm-hmm. There's a big move being made there. It looks like Mark Scott with Mo, doesn't it?
Fantastic. So they did. There was talk of that, Joe, last night. Certainly, it's great when you're not running. You can sit and see all these plots unfurl. But there was talk that they maybe would go together and try and push the pace.
Yeah, I mean, it's great if they can get a good pace going there. And talking about Mo moving up through the distances, and you know, we've all been excited to hear that for Tokyo 2021, he's hoping to go back onto the track, and he's shown what a great track runner he was last week. But also, you know, interesting how his half marathon times are absolutely phenomenal, and moving up to the marathon, obviously British record holder, won Chicago Marathon, had some fantastic performances on the road, but at world level he was the best on the track, multiple double Olympic titles, double world titles, and I think he missed the track. He couldn't wait to get back on, and it's given him that renewed motivation, I think, having dabbled at the marathon, to go back to what he really excels at.
So Joe, we're coming up to the 2 mile marker here, so it'll be just be interesting to see where they've how much they have picked it up, maybe in another 100 metres. And certainly, would it be fair saying Mo's the present and Mark Scott could potentially be the future in British athletics?
Oh, definitely. It's really exciting to see how well Mark's doing. I mean, obviously he's run the British 5K road record in August, 13:20. He's the person in form, and he's improving all the time, and it's really exciting to see him going through. Like you're saying, Mo is saying he's the one to watch, and he's proven it today.
Well, it looks like they have picked it up a bit there, Kev. They've just went through the 2 mile. Certainly the second mile looked to be a little bit quicker than the first.
Yeah, Stephen Scullion right at the front there.
Yeah.
2 miles just hit around 9:35. Very early in the race, obviously, and I'd love to see how we get now over the next couple of miles.
So this is, so they're now going to take a nice, go the wrong way effectively round the roundabout. It's going to be a nice sweeping right, and then they've got a slight incline, and they're down into the town. So again, they've got a few tight turns ahead of them, same way as the girls did, going through the town, and then for 2 miles, and then we're back out the coast. And it is great to see them actually sharing the pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each doing a turn at the front. So that looks to be Stephen, as you mentioned, Stephen Scullion. And you can see this area of the course, it's quite exposed. So we've got no cliffs either side. So there will be a little bit of wind there as well, I think. Kevin just sweeping across the loch.
Also, we touched on London there. Mo is actually pacing in London again.
Yeah,
this year,
I know.
yeah.
It's great to see him supporting, the British guys, and supporting the race really, and giving his services really to help others improve their time, which is great to see. But the virtual event as well, I think, has got 45,000 runners signed up to do, which is phenomenal. People have really kept their spirits up and gone for it during these difficult times. Still, going to raise money for loads of amazing charities, and it's great to see. And of course the elite race is going to be a lap, I think the lap is going to be about, is it 1.5 to 2 miles or something, the actual lap that they're going to be running in the London Marathon. But anyway, they're running lots and lots of laps in a safe biosphere situation, which it's good that at least they can do that and go for some of those Olympic qualifying times. But yeah, great to see Mo's going to be pacing, as is Ali Dixon, who we've got here running in the women's race. She's the 50k world record holder, Olympian, has done some brilliant marathon performances, and she too is helping to pace the London Marathon on the 4th of October.
Just going back to the men's field, so I mean, again, Stephen Scullion out front looks to be running really aggressively.
And we're just coming up to this tight left turn, Kev. So it'll be, there we go.
There we go. He's got a couple of meters there, Mo.
And we're going to have to say goodbye to Joe for the next foreseeable future, for the next half hour, because she's got her VIP duties to do. So Joe, thanks for joining us, and we'll hopefully touch base before the finish, all being well.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe. coming up to 3 miles now.
And again, it's the people that are working today, they're all out. It is good to see some support, Kev. Obviously, they're adhering to social distancing rules and regulations, but it's not completely dead out there for the guys.
Yeah, I know it's difficult times, obviously, with COVID and everything that's going on. So, look, it's nice to see that people are adhering to the post we put out about people just watching it on the live stream, trying to stay away. You can see there. That's right through the main town there, 3 mile marker now. Just hitting around 14, 15.
And of course, no real breaks yet, Kevin. They're just, they seem just to be content to run, do their turn, do a spell at the front each, nearly a bit of jockeying. And
yeah, I mean, over the last mile and a half seems to be Stephen Scullion doing a lot of the work from the front. Seems happy enough out there. I mean, must be such a buzz for him, leading out a 4-time Olympian champion.
Yeah.
It's not every day you can do that.
No, but no mean athlete himself. Certainly, he seems to be getting from his 1500 meter days. He's been just getting longer and longer and longer, and faster and faster and faster. So he'll certainly be another Irish hopeful for Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not within. It's within his range to have a go at that Irish record now in London. No, 19 loops ain't going to be easy in London.
No. As long as there's no corners, we'll be okay. So that's just on Victoria Road now, so before they head back onto the Coast Road. And that's the last little incline they really have. So, and again, the course, any incline, you've got a decline the other side. So they will be going back down that. But again, probably the first 4 miles is a slower section of the course.
It's the first time now we've seen Ben Connor kind of sitting at the back. He's kind of moved out to the outside here, and it's really good to see the guys kind of sharing the pace, as you say.
And reports from training as well that Ben's going very, very well. He's been training very well, with, I guess, a few of them been training together.
Yeah, Ben's going to be making his debut in the marathon in London. And he's on paper here. He's the second fastest guy in the field, 61:11.
And there's a few guys under 62. I know, speaking to Aerospade, Garrow yesterday, he was he thinks he's in around sub 62 shape as well. So with his strength coming from the ultra marathon, you can't really discount him either.
Yeah, he'd be one of the guys kind of coming through later in the race, you would have thought. He's a guy who's only running 4.5 years, and just every year he seems to be improving. He's a PB of 2:10 for the marathon, and he's training for Valencia Marathon, which is going to be elite only, and is basically going to be a trial for the Spanish team for the Olympics. They've picked 2 athletes already, so it's going to be 6 athletes going for 1 spot in Valencia, which is going to make a great race.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And they're coming up too, so they're going to just take a sharpish left turn, and we're just seeing it now. And then, of course, we're now on the Glenarm Road, which leads to the Coast Road. So from here, it's an out and back. So again, coming up to the start, so the hill they ran down, now they have to go along this long gradual incline. And then effectively when they get to the top, near the start, it'll be all downhill for the next 400 or 500 metres.
So Matt, obviously Mo only having raced 8 days ago and breaking that world record on the track, how do you think his legs are going to be today?
I think that's the unknown. I think, as we said earlier, Mim Morsels would probably be struggling. He's here. He seems very confident. So I think we've got to think that his legs have recovered. It was interesting. Hassan, who broke the ladies' hour record in Brussels, raced during the week over 5,000. Hopefully Mo's legs are good, and we can see a quick time.
I mean, for him there now early on, I think he's just really sitting back, chilling. 4:45 average so far. We've gone through 4 miles, 19 minutes dead. Yeah,
so that's probably the slowest part of the course, as I mentioned earlier on. So there's the turns, the tight turns. It's a nice out and a nice back, and essentially a flat road with the downhill finish. So hopefully the guys you would expect somewhere to make a break.
So we're just passing here. This is when they come back, that point there where we saw all the supporters. They're just going to shoot down there, yeah.
And again now, so they've done that little incline, and now they've got a nice sweeping downhill, and you can see they really are picking the pace up there. And that's Mo at the front, just striding out. He's now actually getting onto the back of the bike there, and they seem to be now nearly going in single file, Kev.
Yeah, it really is decision times now. Do they go with Mo, or do they just try and run their own race? Mm-hmm. Ben Connor just seems to be moving up a small bit there.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Mark Scott just sitting in there in the lead pack as well, so we mustn't discount him. He's had a fantastic year. He just seems to be getting faster and faster, and he's probably going to be very close next year to getting under that magical 13-minute barrier, Kev, for 5K.
Yeah, I mean, he broke Mo's record in the indoors, 13:08, and anyone that's ran indoors, you know yourself, it's a little bit more technical. Obviously, you're running 200-meter laps, and that record looks like one that's going to stand for a while. We can just see here now, this really is a fast section. Is it really starting to get into the stride here now? Mark seems to be up there with Mo.
And we did warn them at the technical brief, just coming out this section of the road. Now there will be an awful lot of photography going into that black arch at 5.5 miles. It sounded like everyone was wanting to go out there just to get that photo. So yeah, they seem to be going at a very good pace going up to the black arch, which will take them to the 6 mile marker.
You see at the back there now, Stephen Scullion just a couple of meters off them, so hopefully he can hang in there at the back. Yeah, he's about 5 meters off the back there now. It's come down to the guys that we thought would be there, the top 3.
So we've got Farah there, and we've got Scott, and we've got Connor, and we just have Scullion at the back there. So those 4 are away, and it's quite a break, Kev. They've certainly opened up a gap to what is a very good field behind them as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see there, once we hit that downhill section, Mo just seemed to open up the legs a little bit. Mark Scott now right to the front as well. Just going back to the lead ladies, Lily Partridge seems to be out on her own there. We've just approached 53 minutes. Sam Harrison is just behind.
Yeah, there looks to be, Lily's opened up a 20-meter gap there. So still a fair way to go. They've still got maybe 3.5, 4 miles to go at this point. But Lily looks to be going strong.
That's exactly what she wants coming up to London. Nice strong performance. Going back to the men's here. Stephen Scullion seems to latch back on, which is great. So we know back with 4.
And they'll be going through the Black Arch now. So this is a lovely backdrop from the Antrim Coast. So essentially, it's a 200-year-old archway. It's built through granite rock. And we've got Aerospad Giro just on the back of that lead pack. So again, he was very, very confident of getting under that 62-minute barrier. So it just shows you what type of pace the guys at the front here are taking out with, Kev.
Yeah, he's really is running his own race there now. He's not too far off the guys. He's maybe about 12, 15 seconds behind.
And a beautiful backdrop there of the Black Arch and the headlands of Larne.
Josh Griffiths there in a group of 4 coming through, so they're just behind. Stephen Scullion again looks to be pushing the pace on again here.
Yeah, I think it does look like they're all taking turns, Kev,
Yeah.
isn't it? Just at the front there, because although it's a beautiful day in Larne, there's certainly when you're running on the coastal road, there still is wind in parts. So I guess some of them are taking shelter at certain areas.
25 minutes gone, so these guys aren't too far away from hitting the halfway mark.
And it's also fantastic as well that these guys are lining up against each other, Kev. You don't normally get it, just that strength and depth where everyone jumps in. Maybe it's partly the year we're having, but certainly the strength and depth is fantastic. It's nearly like a British stroke Irish championships.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we really want, and hopefully next year we can attract more and more guys from Ireland and Britain, especially having these ding-dong battles. And just looking at the field behind, obviously we're getting some pictures here, and it's good. It's fairly spread out. Good to see, though. A lot of guys are running packs, which is going to really help them in the latter stages of the race.
Yeah, speaking to a lot of the Scottish and the Irish guys in the B race, they were all going to run as effectively as a team just to try and get as fast a time as possible. So it's hopefully we'll see a few PBs also in the B race.
You know, also we got Gary O'Hanlon. He should be looking to try and break the Irish over 45s record today, which I think is a low 68 minutes.
Yeah. So you know Gary very well. How's training been going for him?
Yeah, I think Gary, like a lot of people, has been struggling with the mental side of not having any races coming up in the picture, you know. And guys like Gary thrive on competition. So today, put him in the field today, and I know he'll be dragged around to a fast time.
Yeah. Fantastic. I know speaking in the hotel last night, they were all very, very enthusiastic just to get going, because it has been a difficult year when there's no real major championship. You know, we hopefully have got the World Half coming up, but it's been testing for them, and then obviously with the Olympics now next year moved, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, so it is difficult just to periodise your year. So just through the 6 mile marker there, and again the 4 guys on their own, so we'll be coming up to the halfway split, which we'll get quite shortly. We had a few technical issues with the women's lead bike, but they've been going now for 59 minutes, so they will be certainly into the last 2 miles, Kev. So we'll hopefully get a fixed camera soon on them to see what the latest developments are in the race.
Yeah, we just seen Tommy Hughes running through there with his son Owen there.
Yeah, so they're
side by side. That'll be a good ding dong battle. There's a 25-year gap between the two of them.
But it's great to hear Tommy so enthusiastic and so confident that he's going to give it a go. He certainly was on track. He had a 10-mile race last week, and if he can keep that going for the half marathon distance, he should get close to that 71:33.
Yeah, and I know even 2 weeks ago he ran 3 races in the one day. I mean,
And that's him tapering.
That's typical Tommy. 5k followed by 10 mile in 54:40, which was a world record for over 60s, and then finished off with a 39-minute 10k.
And we're not far away, so we're just probably 60 minutes plus at the halfway point. It's coming up in the next 200 meters. So 30-18, I think there, Kev, at halfway. Now the mat has it's maybe 10 meters past the official halfway. So we really are on a fast time. We're now into the fastest. The second half's much faster than the first half of the course. So it depends whether they're going to have a race or whether they're going to go for a time.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to get quicker and quicker as we see the end of it. Just going back to the women's race, Lily Partridge is out in front here, and she has about a 40-second gap on Sam Harrison.
Yeah, and she's striding out there, so she's now within the last 2 miles. There's Sam just coming through on her shot now. And no real change in the men's race. They're making a fantastic. They're now making a fantastic pace with the 4 of them, and it really does look like they're just going to go for a solid run, and maybe the last 2 miles things will open up slightly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that last mile. It really is a fast one. We had also Steph Davis there in third place in the women's race going through. They really are spread out now in the ladies' race.
Now we're just following the lead vehicle in the men's race. So we've got again Mark Scott, Ben Connor, Mo Farah, and Stephen Scullion.
So Matt, just going back to the race, obviously we're approaching 7 miles there, 32:30. How do you think the athletes feel with no crowds out in the course? Do you think that is a big negative for them? Obviously Stephen Scullion being a local athlete, I think if we had big crowds, it would have really helped them.
I think it depends how you're feeling. I think they're going to be pretty focused at this point. Being in a group. I'm not sure the lack of crowds is too much of a problem. It's when you start to struggle. Maybe if you fall off the pack, that's when the crowds can really help. So the fact the guys are still working together, that's going to be beneficial for all of them.
I know when on Thursday when I spoke to Mo, and his first thing was he thought Stephen Scullion was going to finish second to him, and when I heard that, I knew he was in great shape. So he's shown it here today, isn't he?
He's obviously been training well, and the fact he's still there, they're on a good pace. When the Mo's still got some of Brussels in his legs, it surprised me slightly watching Brussels to see Mo leading for so long. traditionally we see Mo sitting in and finishing quickly. Brussels, he did most of the work.
Yeah, he just seems to be biding his time today, sitting in, moving out to the front on the downhill section, letting those long legs really work. And Ben Connor just seems to be running a really chill race at the back here.
Yeah, we've had some good reports about Ben's training, so I think we've got four guys all in really good shape at the moment.
So can be a tough headwind in this part of the course there. You can see it's quite exposed, just going around the headland. You can see the ferry there in the background. Beautiful backdrop there on the right hand side. You've got over 100-meter cliffs, and on the left you can see parts of Scotland and the Mull of Kintyre. So it is a beautiful aspect.
So we can see here Stephen Scullion just hit the front again, Mo just sitting in behind, and Mark Scott followed by Ben Connor.
Now we're approaching 66 minutes in the women's race, and it should be just a reminder that the all-comers record for Ireland is 72.26 by Miriam at Cambridge. So that may be under threat today, Kev.
Yeah, definitely. I think now Lily is just focused out in front. She's well clear, and she'll be driving towards the finish now.
And of course, that last section, very, very fast. You've at 1,300 metres. You go off the coast road, down to the promenade. You've got a 110 metre decline, and then it's essentially very, very flat and a long, windy road. So hopefully the last mile should be able to hopefully pick it up a little bit more. And again, the leading men's now just coming into Ballygally, so it's actually quite interesting because Mo's coach, Gary Locke, lives in Ballygally, because that's where he's originally from. So I'm sure Gary's parents will be out cheering Mo on. And we're delighted to welcome back Jo, just from her VIP duties. So Jo, welcome back.
Thank you. So yeah, met some brilliant people that have contributed to making this event the brilliant event that it is. So
Jo, we're just coming up to, we're approaching 68 minutes. So Lily's out in front in the women's race. She's and with Sam Harris maybe 50, 60 metres behind. We're 68 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see what she does the last mile in.
Yeah, it's great. You know, we've got a repeat of what we had at the big half then with these two athletes, you know, being the ones to tussle it out at the end. Unfortunately, I see a couple of the athletes unfortunately dropped out. Ali Dixon and I think Steph Davis wasn't going to finish. So that's sad to see, and hopefully their injury niggles aren't too serious.
Yeah, I guess you know, when it's you haven't raced, you're maybe under raced throughout the year, and you come into a race like this, which is essentially a British Championships. Things can go wrong if you're under, you know, maybe
definitely
a few more races may have helped.
Yeah, and you know, if you are carrying a niggle, you know, half marathon's a long way. You can't risk doing yourself a lot of damage. I know Ali had a problem with her glute a little bit.
So we're looking at a really super fast time here in the ladies. I think she's probably approaching the 400 metre mark now already.
You're
That's
joking.
Be a really
this is
good
fantastic.
Time.
We could actually be seeing the first ever sub 70 minutes here in Ireland. So let's just. We're going to have to commentate here, Kev, because the lead vehicle is...
The camera's frozen there, but...
We're approaching 69 minutes now.
So Lily's PB was 70.31 from what she achieved in Reading in 2015, around 70.50 earlier this year in the big half, but let's hope she gets a PB or a really fast time, getting her ready for that big London Marathon attempt. in about 3 weeks' time.
We've got 40 seconds to get under that 70 minutes. Let's see.
You can see the finishing stewards just getting ready here, the technical officials at the finish line, so we'll keep you posted at 69.38. I think she's just going to be outside it, Kev.
Yeah, she can't see her now in view. We're just at 69.50. So we're definitely going to see an all-comers record here, which is fantastic.
By some way, it looks like, just looking at she 20 seconds still just to get inside her own PB of 70 minutes 31. No sign of her yet. Quickly cutting back to the men's race, they're just coming out now of Ballygally. They've done the loop, and it's still the same four guys. So it's Sir Mo Farah, Mark Scott there side by side, Ben Connor, and Stephen Scullion. And we've got the finishing tape here. So we've got the finishers tape out for the women's race.
We just hit 71 minutes here.
And there we've just cut to the finishing line video.
Here we are now.
And here she comes, 71.05. So we're going to see the fastest time ever in Ireland. 71.11, 12.
Can't you get under that PB now? 10 seconds to go. She's just going to be outside it. Here she comes.
And there we go, and she's through in 71.36.
Super run.
Fantastic
Great
running,
run.
and we've just seen Kev an all-comers record.
That's one down and one to go.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic run by Lily. She looked so well in control and quite relaxed as she came across the line there.
She did.
Yeah.
She's
going to
to
be
fix the shades on
chuffed.
top of the head.
Yeah, she's going to be chuffed that her
And there, of
preparations
course, Sam
well.
Harrison coming through 71.56, and she's just under the 72 as well. Fantastic to
Brilliant. Oh, well done, Sam.
see. Great effort there by the girls, both of them under the old all-comers record, which stood for 6 years. So fantastic to see.
And the girls there, they had to do a lot of running on their own. We're just seeing Steph Davis coming through here.
Again, another very good time, 72.23.
I think in fourth, the last coverage we had was Becky Briggs. So let's see if Becky can break her British under 20 record, which is 74.34.
And we've just cut back there to the men's, and we're now, and you see the leading group there just passing the back of the men's elite race there, and they're now making their way home. So they've, Kev, now we're into just inside 4 miles to go. So it really is turning into a fascinating race at the front here. We've still got the same four guys.
I mean, when we spoke about this morning, we were talking about the fast time. We were also talking the element of having a proper race, and that's what we're seeing here, which is phenomenal. Just going back to the women's race there, we also saw a British under 20 record there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Becky Briggs.
Becky Briggs, I think she was maybe just fractionally under 73 minutes.
Fantastic. So we're really strong finishes there in the ladies' race, and it looks like we've now actually got a race in the men's race. I just wonder, Kev, in terms of, Joe, you would maybe be well placed to answer this as well. Running for 1 hour in Brussels the week before, do you think, will that affect Mo in the closing stages, or do you think he should be strong enough?
I mean, Mo has displayed on several occasions that he's got massive powers of recovery. I mean, not many people will be able to win multiple titles at one championship, you know, double gold in Olympics, double gold in World Championships year after year, and you need massive powers of recovery to be able to do that. So he's shown that he's that sort of athlete. Like when I've doubled up at championships, sometimes I've really struggled in the second event that I've done, and he just really recovers well. Of course, he has to worry that he doesn't get injured. He would have had to think about that in this next week. How well can he recover from running an hour in spikes? It does so much damage to the legs, and he's professional, he's experienced, he will know that he was safe enough to run on those legs today, but he would have had to really take that into account, because it's not like running an hour on the road in racing shoes. It's running in spikes on a hard track, as we talked about, and that takes a lot of recovery from, and I think the further you go on the track, the more damage that happens equivalently. If you do 5k, a 10k is worth more than two 5ks.
Exactly,
it feels.
and then you've got the half marathon essentially on top of that. So and when the Brussels track's so hard, so that's just what I was wondering. Would it be a factor in this? But they do look to be going very, very smoothly.
Yeah, and Mo's always got that amazing change of pace, isn't he? However long he runs for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're coming up to the 3 mile marker. So it really is now turning into a 5k race. And a very flat 5k race with a lovely downhill, so it should be quite fascinating finale to the men's race. I think we're seeing Mark Scott now take the front for the first time.
Yeah, once Mark gets over that 10k mark, he's into new territory for him.
And he actually talked about that as well, didn't he? He was just wondering. He says he's very, very strong shape. He's been doing a lot of endurance, believe it or not, even though he's been running quite short distances.
I mean, he did 7-second PB for 1500, 3:35 on a track. So to be going from a PB for 1500 right up to the half marathon is just phenomenal.
So it really is a race between the present and the future of British distance running here. So it's going to be quite fascinating to see how this all unfolds.
It's exciting to see Mark coming through. You know, he's had that track background, represented the country on the track, and being able to now run half marathons at this level, it's really exciting to see. And like I say, he's the talent coming through, and he, you know, this is his first half marathon, and look how he's performing. It's just absolutely fantastic.
And looks very strong, yeah.
So we got Stephen Scullion just about 4 seconds off the back here, but he's looking like he's going to run a massive PB. I mean, his PB is 63:36.
So we could be looking at a Northern Ireland record here, Kev, at 62:09. So
yeah, he just needs to hang with these guys now as long as he can.
And going through the 10 miles in 46:30. And Stephen's actually quite familiar with this coast road. He has run a variation of the course way back when. He doesn't remember it, but he has actually been here. So this coast road now, this finish is familiar to him. So I know Mo went out the last couple of days. He was getting a lot of car horns peeping and waving at him, and nearly selfies as he was running out there, or socially distanced selfies. But he has been out and back around the coast road, but certainly Stephen will be much more familiar with this route now.
So if he went through in 46:30 at 10 miles, that's kind of saying they're dead on 61 pace at the moment, but they can pick it up, obviously, as we go towards the closing stages.
They're on 61 flat pace, and it's certainly the finish is faster than the finishing section's faster than the start. I've just been handed the official times here of the ladies' race. So we've 71:36 Lily Partridge in first, 71:59 Sam Harrison. So again, fantastic to have two girls in fact, we've got three girls in third place with Clara Evans and 1:12:22. So three girls under the all-comers record. So that was fantastic. And then with Becky Briggs in a UK, Kev, are we saying under 23 record?
Under 20 record. We've also got Clara Evans there who's ran a PB as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah, so testament to Billy Thompson and his team there on the course. They really have got it right. It's great to see the fast times.
Yeah, brilliant to see PBs today in this opportunity to run on a fast course in great conditions.
So I think it's fair, Joe, in saying now that the British record is out for the men's race, and we're really just into a race.
Yep. We also got the Northern Irish record.
Yeah, so we have got records. We've got an all-comers record and potentially a Northern Ireland record we could be looking at here. So it's fantastic to see, certainly for the province.
Yeah. It's always exciting to see a race, though, isn't it? I mean, these guys running there with Mo, it's a great opportunity for them to be running with somebody of the calibre of Mo as they're progressing their careers, and really great to see a race and seeing has Mo got his classic change of pace as he moves up through the gears after having that world record only a week ago.
Well, they're all familiar with the finish, so it'll be interesting to see when the first strike comes, because now we're into the last sort of 3 miles. At the Black Arch, there'll be 2 miles to go, and then you would expect some moves in that last section.
Yeah. They all look fairly comfortable at the moment, don't they? They're
very comfortable. And as you said, Joe, you just don't see this enough. We've got essentially we've just got a British and an Irish race here, so it doesn't, usually you've got a pace and it's very fast from the get-go, whereas now tactics do come into,
Yeah, and this is what we want to see more of in the sport, isn't it? Competitive races where we've got fields of runners, and like there's a lot of local talent as well. You've got people interested in the local athletes, and that's what we want to see, and also. Like I said before, the organisers, having put together such an international field, even though we've not had, the athletes from overseas that you'd normally expect at events. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, the field that's been assembled, and all credit to it.
A lot of them confirming for next year, such as yourself, Joe, as well. So
hopefully
we'll get it.
I think that just shows how impressed they are with, the organisation, with the course, and it's been brilliant. And this event, the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, is going to go from strength to strength. We can see that.
So just going back to the race here from a tactical point of view, Matt, what are we looking at here? Obviously, we know Mo can outdo anyone in the finish. So you're looking at probably Mark or Ben to make a move, maybe up on that long drag towards the finish.
It could possibly become a bit cagey. Looking at the course yesterday, the downhill reminded me of the Great North. Steep downhill, and then a sort of 4 or 5 minute run into the finish. So.
And do you think, Matt, that's where someone will make their move, or do you think the likes of maybe Ben Connor may go earlier than that, or do you think it's going to that's going to be the trigger?
Who knows? I mean, it's going to come either, I think, just before the hill, or I think that's the sort of key point really, how you can run down the hill, and then also run off it.
Well, they're just coming up to the Black Arch. Yeah, so they've just coming up to the 11 miles gone, and we're going to go through the Black Arch, and then it really it's a run for home. So you can see.
Oh, Mark's made a move there. Ben's just hanging in there.
As is Stephen. So they're still there, but it looks to be the two at the front, Kevin.
Just going back, we were on about Northern Irish record. The Irish record is Alistair Craig's 60:49.
So it could be certainly under threat, because it really is. This is now the quick section. So they've just went through the Black Arch. Beautiful backdrop there.
Stephen's hanging in really well there. I mean, that gap's really stayed the same over the last mile.
And Stephen knows this course, so he knows exactly where he is, and he knows exactly where the finish. So he'll be very, very familiar with this. So he's in familiar territory.
And of course, Ben planning to run the London Marathon, which will be his debut marathon. And what stage of training is he at the moment? Has he been able to taper for this race, or is he running on a bit of tired legs? And of course, boyfriend of Lily Partridge, who we saw win the women's race. Yeah, so they've done well up in the way.
It looks
training.
like we're down to 2 here, Joe.
Yeah, so it's nearly as if the Black Arch has been the trigger for Mo and Mark to maybe shift gears, and I think there's probably going to be another gear shift with 1300 to go, because they've got, as I say, we've got the downhill, and then it's all systems go. And it's great to see, speaking to these guys, as I said, a lot of them have confirmed for next year, so it will be fantastic with the masses in behind that.
Yeah, as we were saying earlier, we do feel sad that the masses couldn't take part today, for obvious reasons, and we're sad about that, because that's one of the things about road racing that I love, is coming and running with thousands of other runners, hearing all their stories and everything, and it will be great to get them all back again next year. And but well done to the organisers again for getting the race going in some form. And they're really neck and neck now at the
really
moment, aren't
it's
they?
It's fantastic. And two of the best runners in Britain. And look at that backdrop. You've got the headland. You can nearly see Scotland on the right, the Mullican Tyre, and it really is beautiful running there, isn't it?
Yeah.
We just we had Mark leading there, and all of a sudden Mo wanted to stamp his authority, went to the front. Then they went side by side. Now we have Mark making a move again, and you can see the gap opening up behind. They're definitely moving now. 54 minutes on the clock. What a race.
They've really picked the pace up, haven't they, over the last few minutes?
Massively so, and I think there's probably more to come. So they're probably about 600 metres now till we come to the downhill, and then it'll be interesting to see if any of them make their move there. It starts to get a little bit tighter on the promenade before we've got that lovely 400 metre stretch along the Chain Memorial Road. So a fantastic finish gearing up here.
Yeah, they've got that sudden drop down to the promenade, which you have to be aware of. And I know, seeing that last night, I was thinking, it's great the runners are made aware of that, because otherwise it would catch you by surprise. It's the only bit where you've got a sudden challenging bit before you've got that sort of 1,300 metres to really put in your final effort.
And speaking to both of them last night, there was no tiredness. They were both extremely confident. They wanted a fast race. It would look like it's been quite tactical the first half, and now it's really the last 3 miles, Kev, it started to wind up.
Yeah, especially that last mile there. Look at the gap. We can't even see Ben in the distance there now.
Yeah, that gap opened quite dramatically, didn't it?
Mark had been out on the course with us twice. I mean, he really has studied this course, so he's going to know exactly where he's going to make his move. Will he make it from that steep hill down section, or will he hold on and wait till that last 400? But
and it really will, even for these guys as well, they'll find it fantastic going down that promenade. It really is old-fashioned racing. So we're just going through mile 12, and this is now, they're on a little gradual incline here, so it's interesting to see.
Yeah, we're looking around something like 60-20 for the finish. 6:20, 6:30, 60-20, 60-30, something around that. They're finishing around 4:30 miles.
Unless something drastic happens, we're probably looking at an all-comers record for the men's as well.
Massive record.
And now Mo's just jockeyed again. It's nearly as if they're taking their turns here. So it's which one wants to lead down the hill. So you'll see coming up maybe in the next 300 metres they'll be coming off the coast road, and then it's down the descent onto the promenade, and it's a run for home.
This really is testing their legs now. It doesn't look like it on camera, but this is probably one of the steepest parts of the course.
It is. I think from a lot of the feedback, this is the toughest 400 metres now in the course.
And there's that sharp drop that we were talking about, which they'll be well aware of. And
so
like you say, then the racing really starts after they've done that bit.
And has Mo made his break here? I believe he has. He has.
Yeah.
So Mo Farah striking for home.
Oh, we're going to see a very, very low 60 minutes. If you can finish in around 4:20 last mile, we're looking at around 60-20.
So we're 1,000 metres to go.
What a debut from Mark Scott as well.
And it really is fantastic. There has been a lead bike there, but it hasn't been pacing. They've essentially done this themselves, so it really is a fantastic time, Kevin.
Had a little glance there, didn't he? Sneaky glance.
He did. So it really it goes to show that they really were racing there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's Mark behind him, but again, it's going to be a stunning personal best for Mark. I mean, a personal best. It's his first half marathon, but what a first half marathon!
Yeah, and to be running along by the shoulder of Mo Farah, I mean, what a debut. And Mo's always there, hasn't he? He's got that ability to change up the gears. I mean, he's a very tough man to beat if he's there in the final stages against anyone, because he's just got that just amazing change of pace and judges it so perfectly.
And we're just coming up to the 800 metre mark, so it's 50 at 30. So we're looking maybe probably at a mid 60
60-30 if you can finish in.
And he really is running as hard as he can now. So he's striking for home. I think Mark's probably safely in second, but I can't see him catching Mo at this stage.
And there we see Mo, as we always do, with that lovely long-ranging stride, and so economical, and absolutely brilliant to see him performing at his best, because he's 37 years of age and there's no thought of him slowing down. He's only going to get quicker. And
there doesn't seem to be much let up, does there?
No, I mean, it's just amazing, and he's still got that drive and determination to produce the performances, and his mental ability as well as physical ability is phenomenal.
And he's now coming as soon as we come off the promenade, there'll be 400 metres to go, so it'll be interesting to see
60-35
if we can get under the 61. And here he goes. We're in 400 metres to go, so you can see the cameras are out, everybody's cheering Mo on. So no British record, but it's still going to be a very, very fast time, Kev. Certainly the fastest Ireland's ever seen. We're going into the last 200 metres, so we're probably looking at 60-33, 60-34.
Yeah, something around that time. Definitely under 60-40. Phenomenal when you think 8 days ago he broke a world record.
So I'm very excited. Marshall's there, having the opportunity to see Mo's finish, and here he comes.
And look at the time, so it's going to be the fastest ever we've seen in these shores, and it's 60-30. And there's Mark Scott crossing as well under the
60-39, I think, there for his debut half.
Fantastic.
What a race.
So where is Stephen Scullion? That's the question. Are we going to see an Irish record or a Northern Irish record?
Well, the Irish record's just gone, but that's Ben coming through there just under 61 minutes. What do we say the Northern Irish record is? 62.09.
So I think that could be under serious jeopardy. And there we are.
We certainly what a run. Brilliant run. 61.06. 61.10. What a confidence booster that is now for London.
That's fantastic. I mean, it really is your best tempo run you could ever have before London, Joe. What do you think in terms of that will set these guys up for 3 weeks' time?
I've only done a couple of marathons, but to me, running a half marathon in the 3 to 4 weeks before is a crucial part of preparation, because it gives you that race sharpening, really brings you on to that higher level of fitness, and you really need it. So it's great preparation for anyone going on to run a marathon later in the year.
Fantastic. So we're just trying to find now who's our next man coming in. Be the leader of that second group.
I'd say it's Iritz. How do you pronounce it, James?
Well, you put me on the spot there, Kev. Iritz. Arrow.
Yeah.
Arrow Spade Garrow.
Just going back to the men's race there, I mean, we had a PB there for Ben Connor.
Fantastic. Yeah. Who, of course, is, as we said, there going again, also with Stephen going to London, so it'll be great preparation for pair of them. And it makes you wonder, Kev, as well, what you could probably do in this course with, a good international field with a good pacemaker at the front. How much quicker these guys could go.
Yeah, I mean, next year if we can get a pacemaker to even take them to halfway, we could see some seriously fast times. Lucky with conditions today too. I mean, we've been studying the forecast for the last month.
Nearly arguing with people in the radio, the weather presenters, about the weather, but it's worked out very, very well. So yesterday wasn't great, and I believe tomorrow's not going to be good. So, and there's your next man through.
It's Kevin
Seward.
Yeah.
Coming through, and just maybe either side of 63.
Yeah, which is a PB for Kevin. We also had a PB there for Josh Griffiths. Josh is also doing London.
At this point, I would like to thank certainly all the marshals, Kev, out in the course today. They've been fantastic. All the areas, there was maybe over 200 marshals out there today, so it was fantastic for the local community as well as everything else, that it's in these trying times that they've got it over the line.
Yeah, they must have been up at 4:30 this morning.
Well, it's great for Larne, isn't it, to have this happening with all the negativity, with what everyone's been through over the last weeks and months. To have something so positive going on in Larne, I think is lovely for the community.
And I think hopefully the first of many, Joe. Now this
Yeah.
is, we've had a few very good 5Ks in Britain and Ireland over the last month or so. So hopefully this is now, we're coming out the other side of things.
We have nearly
Again, still very fast times here in the men's coming through. All these guys are still under 65 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's about 12 guys under 65, James.
Fantastic.
8 guys under 63.
And there's Mo and Mike just walked past us, so he's given us a smile. So everything's the legs must be fine. That's what we're taking out of that.
Strong finish here. Just coming through just outside 65 minutes.
Still very, very strong running.
So it's 60.27 for Mo and 60.39 for Mark. Ben Connor ran 60.55. And Stephen Scullion with a new Northern Irish record in 61.08.
By 1 second.
By 1 second.
Oh, tell a lie. By 1 minute.
1 minute and 1 second. Josh Lunn coming through there. Yeah, and with Scott Overall just coming through there now. Scott was fourth in Berlin Marathon, 2:10 PB. Great guy.
And just going back to that at the front of the men's race, it really was great to see, wasn't it? A good old domestic ding dong at the last 3 miles, how that all unravelled. It was great to see.
There's Nick McCormick going through.
Of course, we couldn't do the international this year, Kev, but that's one for next year. I know English athletics and Irish athletics are going to put their teams in. The individuals ran this year, but hopefully we'll get more of a team feel to the proceedings next year as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see more people travelling up, and supporting the race. And I think all COVID related, hopefully we can put on a great party atmosphere here.
Yeah, that's the plan. And I think special thanks has to go out to the home nations. Tom and Spencer in England and Jackie in Northern Ireland and Matt in Ireland. They've all been fantastic helping get this over the line. So guys, if you're watching, a massive thank you. Same can be said to Alan Story.
We had our first runner from the B race just through there. Local athlete Declan Reid, who's over 45, phenomenal run there, under 68 minutes.
Fantastic. And now we have to, obviously the next big news is going to be Tommy Hughes. Are we going to get under this world record? And also Gary O'Hanlon.
really exciting to see what Tommy runs. I mean, he was in great spirits last night, wasn't he? Really up for it, and you know, he's in good shape. So
It seemed everyone wasn't it? Everybody was going
Yeah,
to
it
run to
was-
go for a PB, so
yeah.
it was great to hear.
he's very admired in the running world, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
It must be the most men under 70 minutes ever ran in Ireland.
I know, it's fantastic. Really, it's fantastic to see. So it's of course they all have to do it. It's one thing turning up, but you have to set it up as well. So it's great. It's testament to those guys that they made it an honest race.
So that's 69:35 in the clock. Let's see how many more athletes we can get under that 70-minute mark.
And there's one through there.
Scott Rankin, that was gone through.
So that's one of our own Northern Ireland men through under 70. It's great to see. And there's one more just making it under. And that's actually Scott
there
there.
you go.
So Scott's obviously struggled the second half there. Scott overall just coming through in 69 minutes.
Yeah, Scott obviously has done amazing performances in the past. He ran for Great Britain in the London 2012 Games after that fantastic time he ran in Berlin in preparation for that. And yeah, we hope he can get back to his best. He's busy, you know.
He's
and
got a young family now,
yeah,
Joe,
and
so it's,
working hard for London Marathon. I think he's been under a lot of busyness doing that with someone coming in there.
And just on Scott, I mean, he was fantastic. He really did help build the men's race, so I want to
Yeah.
say a special thing to Scott on that. He has been in good shape,
Yeah.
so it just hasn't happened for him today.
Yeah,
but I
he's
mean,
been extremely busy, and you know, you can't always have a good day. You know, that's the thing. It's tough, isn't it? You can be in the best shape, and for one reason or other, sometimes you can't even know why you
it
don't
just
have your
doesn't
best
click.
day. Yeah,
It doesn't click. But again,
he'll be back.
he'll be back, one of Britain's greatest ever distance runners. So we wish to see Scott hopefully back next year. So just to run through the men's race again with Sir Mo Farah in 60 minutes 27 seconds, so an all-comers record there. Mark Scott running a PB in 60 minutes 39. In third with Ben Connor.
Here's Tommy Hughes coming through now,
Oh, there he is.
71:26.
Oh, and a new world record
I
for
think we
Tommy
got it.
Hughes. He's got it by 5 seconds. Sorry there.
What a man.
Sorry,
that's
Kevin, we missed
fantastic.
that. So a new world record for Tommy Hughes. Vets over 60 world record by 4 seconds. Unofficial 4 seconds.
That was probably one of the hardest records on the book out there in terms of 5k right through to the marathon. So what a run.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. He was confident. He knew he could do it, and he pulled it off. Absolutely fantastic.
There's Kevin Moriarty, one of the tallest men in Irish athletics, coming through there. That's his debut over the half in 72:07. Raheny man. Clonliff man there, Declan Power coming through, 72:40. And a big PB there for Evan Reid. Sub 73. Some shape. What does a recovery week look like for you, Joe, after a hard half? So let's say the athletes there now that are going to be doing London in 3 weeks' time. What's their next week going to look like? A little bit of few days recovery?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to listen to your body. I mean, you definitely need at least 3 easy days and really an easy week. But you definitely need to listen to your body. I've sometimes found that when I've raced on a Sunday, by the Thursday I can start thinking about running kind of at a normal pace again. But sometimes you take longer to recover depending on the course, depending on how you felt going into the race. And you must not have any definite plan. But you know, of course, some people, this is going to be their last race for now and they're going to be having a break, whereas others, recovery is going to be crucial now they've crossed that line. They need to think about refueling. Are they going to get massage? Are they going to have an ice bath? And really think about how they're going to recover if they're going forward to run marathons or any other races in the next sort of few weeks. So yeah, everyone's in different circumstances and everyone recovers differently, but definitely you need an easy week and listen to your body and don't do a session too soon because that's when injuries happen.
Yeah, I think you know, some people rush into, especially after they've run a big PB and they want to just hit the track as soon as they can. You know, it's important to back off and listen to the body, as you say. And
it's so common for injuries to happen when you've got sore muscles, because sore muscles, you know, the delayed muscle soreness is not actually an injury, but it's muscle damage. And when you run, when you've got that delayed muscle soreness, that's when something can suddenly go. So you've got to be so careful to make sure you're recovered properly before you do any quality running again.
I know Mark Scott is going to be having a Guinness after his run. That's his last run now for the season.
Yeah, he definitely deserves that,
doesn't
doesn't
break,
he?
yeah. So the athletes are still stringing through here. We've seen a lot of local athletes there. Springwell athlete Paul O'Connor there going through. That's a PB actually for Paul.
Seems to have been a lot of PBs out there today, which is brilliant. You know, it shows it's a nice course. The weather's been kind. Not too windy, is it, really, considering, you know, you're on the coast. There really hasn't been a lot of wind about.
We take that weather today.
Yeah.
So it looks like we don't have too many more runners coming in now. Probably 3 or 4 more runners left on the course. Buzz around here is special. Everyone's buzzing after what a men's race we had, and also really good performance by Lily Partridge there in the women's race. Not too many races you get a red carpet. Finish.
I know, I was looking at the finish thinking that's quite special, isn't it?
Yeah.
The royal treatment as you finish the race, running onto a red carpet. It's definitely good.
So guys, that's coverage over for this year for the P&O Antrim Coast Half Marathon. We'd just like to thank, firstly, all our sponsors, all the federations that have helped us out, and of course all the community that's got behind this. So massive thank you. Entry is open for next year, so we hope to see you there. You can go onto the website. It's antrimcoasthalfmarathon.com. Thank you.